Well, this will be interesting. My son Julian told me to watch this video. It's gone viral. It's a political thing going on. It looks like an altercation that almost became physical. I'm going to check it out right now with you guys. I'll give you some of my thoughts on what my observations are politically and whatnot. And we'll get to it in just a second. But before I do, I just wanted to introduce myself. Whoa. I'm Matt Criscuolo, and I'm coming to you up close and personal. So let's get right to this, shall we, and see what this is all about. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, okay? Let's check it out.
Oh, how's that? How's that? How's that? Fuck you where you
coming
breathe,
after me, man?
okay?
Why you coming
Don't
after
tell me
me,
what
man?
the fuck to do. How's that, pal?
I didn't tell you what to
You
do.
did. You said don't talk to people who you don't know. I'll talk to whoever the fuck I want to know.
Never mind.
How's that, pal?
Never mind. I did tell him not to talk.
Okay, so now apparently there's a young guy that is holding the camera, the phone, the camera phone, and he's having a confrontation with this older gentleman, okay? Now, this guy said, fuck you where you breathe, which I think is hilarious. I'm sorry. In a way, it's hilarious. In another way, it's kind of, it's disappointing and disconcerting to see people getting to into these kind of altercations. But on the other hand, it's good that people speak their minds. Now, how volatile this situation got, and maybe if it got quickly, escalated, that speaks to another issue. But in my, and strictly, these are strictly my opinions, by the way. But the older guy did say, fuck you where you breathe, which I'm curious to know from those of you who are out there. Have you ever heard that saying anywhere? Is that like a military, is that like from a certain part of the country? I've never heard that before, and I think it's kind of funny in a way. But this younger guy must have told this guy, don't talk to people that you don't know. Now, who knows what the hell he was telling him, if he actually did say that. If he did, I could understand why the older guy might be upset. And again, this isn't really about age or anything. I'm just, identifying who it is so that we can be on the same page and be clear about who's saying what. I'm not making a comment on age and appropriateness and, respect and things like that, because I do believe that, yes, you're supposed to respect your elders, but I do believe elders are supposed to respect, younger people too. I think everybody should respect each other. I don't think it leans one way more than the other. Although one could argue that, respecting your elders because they've been around the block and they have a certain amount of wisdom, hopefully, and you could make that argument. But let's go right back to the video, shall we?
That's right. So use your fucking head if you know how.
Understood.
Okay, you little pimply little shit.
Hey, you guys. If you guys could not do this in the store.
That sounds good to me.
So obviously the lady who's a clerk who's working there, now she's telling them, guys, don't argue in the store, and I understand that she's trying to protect the ambiance of the store for the other shoppers. She certainly doesn't want to see anything physical start taking place, because who knows where that can go, and she doesn't want to witness that or be subject to anything that could put her in a compromising, risky situation either. So she's doing the right thing. This guy obviously looks like he's done some weightlifting, because he's got some muscles up on top of over there. Probably does a little beer drinking as well. And I'm not poking fingers, because I got myself a little beer gut too, except mine's more of a chocolate gut.
And then leave.
I'm checking out, sir.
Yeah,
Check
go
out.
ahead, ring out. If you could take
Okay?
6
You're not
feet.
that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Okay.
Okay?
Are you?
Absolutely.
You're not that guy. Trust me, you're not that guy. And then the younger guy says, are you? And he goes, absolutely. I don't know what guy he's referring to. I'm guessing he's, trying to say that guy that is going to be tough and stand up and get into it if he's got to, and throw down, which is probably a bit unnecessary, for the most part. I mean, what are we talking about? Somebody said something. It's not like anybody insulted somebody's mother or hit on the wife or girlfriend or something like that. You know what I mean? He said, don't talk to. But I think what's underneath all of this, in my opinion, is a political tone, something that is political. Maybe this older gentleman might be a conservative Republican type. The younger guy, who knows what he is? He could be a liberal a liberal democratic type. But one thing is for sure, to me it looks like the older guy has, and both of them for that matter, have identified the other as the other. And that's what really interests me the most when it comes to what's going on in this climate that we have in the world and in the United States, with parties and ideologies and worldviews and identity politics and all that kind of stuff. I don't really concern myself so much with taking a side. I have the philosophy of, and personally, of kind of zooming out and looking at things from a bit further back. I do like some perspectives and ideas from each side, and I try to find somewhere a balance there. And if it leans one way, sometimes that's possible, and if it leans another way at other times, that's possible too. But for me, I'm more intrigued and interested by people's behavior, how they cling to their ideas, how they maybe some people don't challenge their own ideologies, and they get maybe stuck and mired, in a certain way, stuck in a rut. And I find that very interesting. So let's watch this. Keep going.
You're going to get arrested for this?
Arrested for doing what? Just like a pimple on the left. Somebody says something and you don't like it.
Sir.
And you don't like it, right? Is that what it is?
If
You
don't
little
stop
pimp.
yelling,
Can you hold the
get
camera
out of
while
the
I check
store.
out?
I'll leave the store,
I'm listening
okay?
to the young
Fuck
lady.
you where you breathe, pal. Right where you breathe. Go vote for fucking Biden and suck right here.
Have a good day, sir.
Vote for Trump, you idiot.
Okay, so there you go. It's very clear whose side. You see, now it's so interesting. Like these kinds of things are happening probably more often than we are aware of in this political climate, where people are really charged about their party and they're triggered. I have friends and family on both sides of the aisle, people that I respect and admire, very intelligent people I consider to be very intelligent and informed. And I find it very interesting to talk to them and get their perspective on if they're, leaning more towards the left or leaning more towards the right. Now, in this video, going back to the video, the older gentleman actually walked out and grabbed his crotch and said, go vote for Biden. Okay. And then the younger guy said, yeah, well, you go vote for Trump. As isn't it funny that, they and we might all be basically in the same boat, and we might think that our ideas, left or right, really are going to, who knows? I don't want to get into it right now. I don't feel like I'm in the right, it's not the right forum exactly. It's kinda. And plus I want to gather my thoughts and make them more clear right now for the sake of making this video. I'm kind of moving quick and I can't really gather my thoughts. But I want to stick with this reaction. Obviously, you could see that political views were involved and informing each of these guys' beliefs. Now, what the kid might have said to the guy in the beginning may not have been political at all. It could have, I don't know. I'm speculating. I'm not going to, try to imply that that's what it was. The only reason why I'm saying that is because the older man did in the beginning say, hey, look, don't tell me who I can and can't talk to, or something like that. And I think that, maybe the younger guy might have maybe overstepped his boundaries by, telling him something. And or maybe he was being, maybe the younger guy was stepping up and it wasn't political. And maybe the older guy was saying something inappropriate to somebody else and he wanted to step up. I have no idea. All I know is that it did go to a political direction. And I have a feeling that it went that way because it was being driven by the older guy. And I'm not passing judgment on him. He obviously sized up the younger guy as being maybe one of these young snowflake liberals, and I'm not saying that that's my opinion about who these younger people are or what they are. I'm just using terminology that that I think these people like this older guy would use. Snowflakes. He used the word pimple. Liberal. People like that. You've heard the whole narrative before. He could be right about the kid. He could be wrong about the kid. Let's face it. But what I find interesting is that people do not have the tools and the skills on how to relate to each other. That's one of the things that you're going to probably hear me say a lot. And the reason why I say that is because in school and as we're growing up, even from our parents, we're taught a lot of things, but I don't know that we're taught about the art and skill of relationship, how to relate to yourself, how to relate to other people, how to relate to anything, even if it's inanimate. Just relationship and breaking down those mechanics and talking about that. That's just a small part of it, but that's just my opinion. I think that people they don't know how to relate, and that's how sometimes and in relationships with a husband and a wife and whatever amongst friends, it's just these certain things that one can ask. And the certain principles like validating one's opinion, asking somebody what's informing their thoughts on why they said or did something, instead of just reacting and and actually being able to see your thoughts instead of so much being your thoughts and being so reactive. Now, I'm not saying that I personally am an expert at this, but I do understand to a certain degree some of those ideas, and I try to implement them as much as I can in my life. And I know, and I like to observe other people, like in this situation, to see how much of that they are not doing or doing. In this case, I didn't see anybody doing any of that, but at least nobody got hurt. Anyway, listen, if you have any requests that you would like me to get to, I'm getting a ton of requests and I'm so grateful. The best way to ensure that happens is to go to the description below my video and click on one of the first 2 or 3 options. And that way you can be assured that I'm going to get to your reaction. Click through those links and you can make a request by making a donation. Anyway, guys, that's about it. I am so thrilled that you stuck around for this. If you did, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let me know what you think. What are your thoughts on the matter? Hey, you know what I think? I think it's nice to be important, but I think it's more important to be nice. And I think you should take it easy. And if it's real easy, take it twice.